Hare Krishna. Namaste. Chapter 3, which is entitled as Karma Yoga. Sloka 37. śrī-bhagavān uvāca kāma yesha krodha yesha rajo-guṇa-samudbhavaḥ mahā-śano mahā-pāpmā viddhy enam vairiṇam. So this is the second part of the same sloka, a continuation. This is based on Arjuna's question or concern that by what one is impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly. What is that force makes him to do such act? The response given here by Krishna, it is kāma, lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with material mode of passion, that's rajo-guna, and later the same kāma transforms into krodha, anger. And this is all-devouring, sinful enemy of this world. So we've been talking about what's the cause of many things that's happening. So Krishna is giving here, it is kāma. That is the cause of everything that's happening around the world. So what is this kāma and krodha? Kāma, when one's emotion comes to a point where they can't live without that. It could be a living thing or a non-living thing or any of such things. And that state of mind is called kāma. Krodha, when that particular kāma is being unfulfilled, the transformation of that kāma into a different state of mind is called krodha, anger. This could be on own self, getting angry, or towards others who became the cause of stopping the fulfillment of their kāma. This is what kāma and krodha means. Now, next question. How does this kāma and krodha, which are material emotions, can cover the knowledge of the Atma? The Atma is spiritual, so how can the Atma be covered by such things? So let us level set some basics here before we proceed with this question. Atma is not material, it is spiritual entity, whereas the body, three modes, senses, mind, all these things are matter, not spiritual. We discussed this to some extent about the body and Atma differences in our second chapter. So the question for us to understand is, how can a material thing can cover non-material element? In other words, how can a gross element can cover a subtle element? For example, how can blanket cover wind? How can a wind cover the mind? How can mind cover Atma by these various emotions? Or say, if I have a book in front of me, I want to cover the book so I can place a cloth on top of it or I can put the book into the bookshelf or into a suitcase. That's the way I can cover the book. I can't cover the book with my emotions, by my anger or whatever it may be, because the emotions compared to book are subtler, whereas book is a gross object. So the same question can be asked as how the kāma and krodha, which has no connection at all to Atma, can affect the Atma. How can jnana get covered by this kāma and krodha? I know we spent few minutes on just understanding this question, because if the question itself is not clear, then we can never understand the answer. Therefore, we spend some time in just understanding the questions with various examples. But we will appreciate at the end. What we are going to see here is the mechanism, how the Atma, mind, body, the senses, all work together. If we can understand this, then we know our weaknesses and where we need to focus, what we need to do to improve ourselves in our life. So this is going to be very technical, what we are going to see. Hence, hearing this few times will be helpful to grasp the message. Atma and knowledge are together. The Atma is full of knowledge, but this knowledge also travels out of Atma, like sun and sunlight. The sunlight is the natural property of the sun, but at the same time the sunlight travels out. The knowledge is in Atma. The knowledge also travels out of Atma. So one important side note that we need to know is the knowledge, the jnana, is present within Atma, not in any other organs of the body. That's a very important thing that we all have to know. Otherwise, how come a newborn baby remembers hunger, thirst, to cry, to smile? So if it was to do with the organ, the baby doesn't have any of those organs from the previous birth. It's all new set altogether. Therefore, this knowledge is carried over. It is not present within the organs of our body. This is just a side note. But back to our discussion. Now we are going to see the flow of this whole thing. Flow of the jnana, the knowledge, through different checkpoints or different junctions. The knowledge first, the jnana first reaches is first checkpoint, junction, which is mind. From mind, the jnana goes to the next junction, which are the senses, indriyas. And as the last junction, the knowledge reaches the sense objects, the final destination. In return, the same knowledge returns back. In return, the jnana comes back to indriyas, the senses. The eyes, ears, nose, mouth, skin. And that knowledge passes back the information that it gathered back to the mind. Now, the search process starts at that point to see if this object, the traces of this object exists in the list at that junction, or if it is a new object, it's a new experience. If it is existing, it understands and identifies the object or the experience. It's not necessarily it has to be only object. It can be also some experience that one goes through. If it is a new object or new experience, and it not come out from the search, then it registers over at that point. So when the eye sees the object next time, it could recognize at that time, and it's no more new object. This is how the experiences gets built up. The information gets stored. We return back. Now we are adding another factor here. That is, when the jnana reaches the mind first, the mind has 5 doors, not literally doors. It's just to make it understandable. There are 5 ways, dwara. One for each of the senses. For eyes, for ears, for nose, for tongue, for the touch, for the sense, skin. It opens respective door for that jnana to travel and reach that particular indriya. Now, the jnana that travels through eyes sees an object, say a flower. This is just an example. Flower. That jnana brings back what it saw to the junction, mind. And now, that is processed to see if this is an existing known object or not. If it is known, then it labels it as known and this is flower. If it is not, it labels with the name called flower and registers it. Now we are going to introduce a new factor to this whole flow, which is the 3 gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. These 3 gunas are present in our mind. We saw that the jnana starts from atma, reaches mind, from there to indriyas, and from indriyas it reaches the object. Now at the junction of mind, the jnana will adopt something. The mind is covered or influenced by the 3 modes, sattva, rajas and tama. At the time of jnana travels and reaches the mind, depends on what mode is prominent. At that time in the mind, the jnana will adopt that mode. If the sattva guna is prominent, the jnana that comes out of mind will be sattva jnana, sattvika jnana. If the mind is influenced by rajo guna, the outcome is going to be rajasa jnana. Likewise, tamasa jnana. If it is sattvika jnana, the result will be good activities. The thing that we will see will be good. Kāma yesha krodha yesha rajo-guṇa-samudbhavaḥ mahāśano mahā-pāpmā viddhy enam vairiṇam. Namaste. Hare Krishna.